Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xaereth Prevails, a Grand Arena story. Guys, we are in match number 2, week number 1, 5v5. I'm in the semifinals, and I haven't lost for a while. Last season I went 12-0. Hopefully we can continue that streak. I actually made a video of me scouting my opponent, so I'm not going to talk a ton about how I went about that. You'd be on the lookout for that video. It's kind of longer, but it does show all of the different things I do when I'm scouting and kind of my reactions to his roster and his decision making in GAC history. So in my opinion, it's going to be interesting, but that'll come out sometime after this whole week is over, one way or another though, guys. So let's actually just jump right into it. I want to see how short we can make this video. So first, I do want to say thanks to my patrons, guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, so much for your support. Really amazing. I love all of you. Not the same. Some of you I love more than others, but you are all amazing people, and man, I do really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. And now, let's go over this video. So, my opponent did attack before I was able to go, and he placed a team that I don't have much experience with. Jedi Knight Luke with Jedi Master Luke, and then a bunch of other people plus Watt. And Watt makes that team so hard to kill. And then he placed like a kind of scary Grievous team just because T3 makes them do extra damage. And that Bounty Hunter squad is pretty resilient. It's not that fast though. And then on the bottom, they always placed Qi'ra Nest team with some veterans and randomly Mandalorian, which Mando's not great because he can't do his Disintegrate. And without Disintegrate, like, there's not much point in Mandalorian. Honestly, like, I guess he can give turn meter to his guys, but not enough to really justify his inclusion. And then this Nute team was something he'd never placed before. So immediately, I had planned this from the get-go. My bounty hunters are faster by a mile, really. Bossk is 310. Grief is 309 speed. So I was able to get the initial barrage kill on Qi'ra, and that fight. And then Grief went. He was able to call the barrage, or he called the first barrage. Bossk called the second one after he had taunted. And then I was able to just get a Disintegrate off on Nest, who was going to be a big pain. And then after that, I had to decide whether I wanted to kill Han or if I wanted to kill Chewie. If you kill Han here, then Chewie gets 2 bonus turns. And as you can see, he did get a couple turns. Took away a little of my health and protection, so we need to find a way to hopefully get that back. So I called with Mandalorian, I called Boba to assist so we could get some damage over times back, and got 60 banners, so that was pretty cool. And then I decided, after looking at his stuff, like, I was pretty sure he had used his Ray on offense to counter my own Ray. So I thought I could probably spare Vader. Even if I couldn't, I still had Jedi Master Luke available to counter Rey if I needed to, so I wasn't totally screwed, so I didn't really need Vader. Decided to take a full Empire team. Probably didn't need, like, Tarkin here, but I just wanted a little extra insurance. So as you can see, you put the weapons tech on Vader, and then Vader goes to town. He puts Merciless Massacre on, puts all the damage over times up. And with that weapons tech and with all of his various buffs, like, he's just crazy. So you'll notice that I did target Dooku with my initial Force Crush because I didn't want Dooku to counter me, and therefore, and then just like stun me, and it would just ruin everything. I guess he would have ended up countering Shore Trooper, but one way or another, I just didn't want him to counter. And so here you can see that my Brood Alpha already has ability block, and see, I'm showing the stream here. He's ability blocked, so I can actually just kill him, or I can kill the Brute because he can't resummon his Brute in his next turn at the very least, even if he gets a turn. And now, I mean, we have Fracture on him. We've got everything well under control. Tarkin with relics actually hits somewhat hard with his AoE, so that was kind of fun to experience that for the first time ever. and that's that. We got the 60 banner win there as well. Got into Bronzium, but who cares about that? And the question was what was in the back. I thought that even if he had 2 more Galactic Legends in the back, which I was pretty sure he didn't, even if he did though, I thought that I had the right teams to counter. As it stands, there were 2 teams that I would have actually loved to take Vader against. However, we need to take out that Jedi Master Luke team here, so we're trying to do just that. Need to use Sith Eternal Emperor. Now, I don't have my ultimate on him, and I know that I met with some small amount of scrutiny here for taking Dooku instead of like Sith Empire Trooper, and the fact is, Dooku is Relic 6. Sith Empire Trooper is only Relic nothing. He's Gear 12. So I like Dooku against Jedi though, because he can stun, he can stealth himself, so kind of protect himself. In my testing, so I like to make sure if I have no experience with a comp, if I have time, I'd like to test it in arena if I possibly can. And in this case, I absolutely had the opportunity. So I did test it against my buddy Johnny on the spot in arena. Once again, he's a good dude, always hooks me up. And what I learned was even without the ultimate, I could consistently win, but Scion would always die unless I got lucky, unless like someone missed or something, like a 2% shot at missing. Unless someone missed, he would just always die in their opening Jedi Knight Luke barrage, but then beyond that, we could actually win. So we're just using the Sith trio plus Dooku here, and that's it. We don't have the ultimate, and so you can see I think I might have been a little bit awkward with my linking. I don't have it down yet. I don't have as much practice with Sith Eternal as I would like, and frankly, I'm not practicing a ton with him until I get my ultimate, just because I don't want to be in a spot where I'm trying to constantly, like, I don't want to relearn everything, basically. It takes enough time to learn something really well, and you just play differently when you have the ult and when you don't, and I'll have the ultimate way longer than I kind of won't. So, anyways, this is all going well. In my testing, Nihilus sometimes got killed before he could annihilate. You can see he managed to get one off at the end here because, as people pointed out in the stream, I think a big part of it too is my buddy Johnny on the spot just has better modding than the average person. I'm not saying that my opponent is bad, and actually his mods are like basically at the same level as mine. So like nothing bad against him, but Johnny's a pretty elite player on his own, so being able to test against him is actually really great, because then I go and try to do it in Grand Arena, and it's like, wow, that was easy. So 55, obviously not 60, but I will take that, especially against a team I didn't really know about. So now here's one of the joys that I've been experiencing lately. If you put Piet with the troopers, man, I mean, I think my troopers would have won this regardless, and that's kind of a spoiler, but so yes, I did win this match. As you can, like, there's no tension here. You gotta kill the guy with the lowest health and protection, but once you do that, man, it's so easy. So you gotta put that mark thing on one of the troopers. So I put it on Stark. Stark was gonna go next, and every time they take a turn, guys, so this is the crazy thing, like every time you take a turn, you're gaining so much turn meter on everyone, because you're gaining those stacks from the I forget what it's called now, but the buff from Piet. So I did target, I want to point out, I did target that Grief squad there, or Grief character, because he had the gosh, doing this live is tough sometimes. He had stagger. So here, before, I'm gonna pause it for just 1 second, just so you guys can see. So you can see 34 stacks on those guys from their unique buff, and that's awesome. It's crazy. The thing that's awesome about it though is this is 34 times 6% on both potency and on on offense. So all of these guys are whatever 34 times 6 is, like 180% bonus potency and damage or offense is just nuts. And the reason I'm taking range here instead of my relic Snowtrooper is because you get so many more shots and you gain so many more stacks. So this, I mean, that team kills bounty hunters anyways, but yeah, it does even better now. So now we need to kill General Grievous, and this feels like such a luxury. Like, it's just nuts. I still have Jedi Revan available here too. I still have a ton of good teams available. I have Commander Luke remaining. Now notice my Jedi Knight Luke. He does not have an activated lightsaber, so we were making some good jokes about that on the stream. It was good times. But one way or another, the ideal here against a Grievous team, if you can kill B2 before Grievous takes a turn, that's kind of, I won't call it the win condition exactly, but it's pretty cool because he's going to open with an AoE anyway. So if he does an AoE and then you kill a droid, then he's going to take an immediate turn and do another AoE. If you can just cut it down to just one AoE, that's perfect. So you'll note that Shakti had her dispel debuff, or her dispel thing available. I wanted to take all the target lock off because target lock, man, if you can get rid of target lock here, that makes your life so much easier, because the General Grievous team just relies so much on being able to ride the turn meter, and they rely on target lock debuff to actually ride the target, or to ride the turn meter train. So I like that. They're still kind of fast without it, but not nearly as fast. So, you know, if you're using Grievous on the same token, you want to get target lock on everyone that you possibly can. So one thing that I'll point out, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't hitting Grievous at all. I didn't want to take his protection off until I killed B1, because the second I took Grievous's protection down, he would start making Magna Guard taunt, and we wanted to kill B2 first, or B1 first before that happens, because Magna Guard doesn't do anything other than taunt, and B1 obviously heals and does extra damage and all that annoying stuff. Now I did manage to get my ultimate off with Jedi Master Luke, so that was cool. Now my goal here was just to get as many heals as possible. We'll get as many banners, and the thing is, Grievous was about to go, and I wasn't sure if he had an AoE left. Probably not, but he's probably going to knock some of my banners off one way or another. So instead of going with the heal from Hermit Yoda, because I wouldn't have gotten 20% from 20% wouldn't have been enough, I should say, to actually heal anyone. Instead, I just went for the kill. So 56 banners, good enough. I mean, that team just steals banners regardless of who you're facing. And just like that, I was done with that top zone. Pretty strong performance, honestly. And so the question was, what ships did he put in? The answer was nothing too crazy. No Biston with his Akbar fleet, which is great. And then just a Tarkin fleet with Bomber. So I have Commander Luke left. Decided these guys are all relict, so we need to kill them pretty quick if we can. So took out Pow first because he's one of the biggest turn meter train parts. I was considering just trying to do a Nest solo, but which I think might have worked. But I was like, I'm just gonna be clean. I don't want to mess around with this. So anyways, you could see that I did a deviation to kill, or to hit Qi'ra. That was just to steal his turn meter, and then I went back, finished bays, and you know, the rest is history. We got it. So I still had General Skywalker as well. Decided to go undersized here. Probably could have even just gone with only 2 characters, but I've seen people fail so many times. So many streamers seem to think General Skywalker could just solo. Like, I think people wanted me to try to just solo General Skywalker against these guys, and they're all Relic Night Sisters. Like, you can get stun locked so easy with a solo Anakin, and I mean, maybe that wouldn't have happened in this case. I don't know for sure, but it's crazy, man. People just think that Night Sisters are the way to, or like General Skywalker is the way to kill Night Sisters, and it's just kind of false. Like, yes, he kills them, but not solo. Don't try that at home, kids. Like, it's folly. It's madness. So, as it stood, I probably could have gone a slightly more undersized route, but I don't know. I'm good enough with 60. We're not trying for top 10 or anything, unless I magically just randomly get it. But so they don't have Bist in here. Easy opening for me to be able to use my Malevolent or my Finalizer to take out the rebels. So I don't really know who the best target here is, so I decided I hate Y-Wing more, so I just thought I'd shoot Y-Wing first. And that's probably, if all things are equal, you probably just want to choose the target that you hate the most. I feel like that's just kind of a life rule a little bit. So just keep that in mind. If all things are equal, target the one you hate the most. Now I did manage to kill Y-Wing there before my reinforcements came. Maybe would have been better to take CAD just because he could have called an assist for the silencer, but I don't know. Honestly, I think maybe that would have been the better choice. I went for the First Order TIE Fighter. I don't usually get to call him in. This was already pretty much guaranteed to be over. Once you kill Millennium Falcon, then it is just over. So, I mean, they may end up killing some of our other characters and everything, but we're still going to end up taking them out. So I keep wanting to quote this, and there's like no reason, but I just will. Like they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom kind of thing. You know, which is a funny quote from Braveheart considering the time period, but it is a good quote. So I guess it's in the video now, like it or not, guys. All right, so we got this Tarkin fleet. They don't even have a 7-star TIE bomber, and I have Malevolence. Like even with a 7-star TIE bomber, I've learned with this fleet, I think we're just good. So we're only taking 2 reinforcements in general. So people say, like, they brag about not even taking Spy, and I'm like, you guys are crazy. Situationally, Spy comes in super duper handy. Not always, not even like often, but like 10% of the time you're like, man, I could use Spy. And then if you're me, I'm like, oh, I have Spy. I guess I'll just use him. And the people who don't are like, oh, I guess I'll just lose because I was trying to get 1 extra banner. Like, I feel like that's such a huge folly that a lot of people fall into, honestly, with in general, is like, just because they generally enjoy success with a certain combination, you know, like 9 times out of 10, they decide to go with it instead of playing it a little bit safe. Because like those are the margins that you lose on sometimes. It's like, wow, I made a mistake and now I just lost. Like I lost the whole match because of my pride and my folly. So it's like, okay, what do we do here exactly? You know, should I just take Spy in and just nuke someone? I decided not to, just because if they did an AoE, once Spy got in, that would knock banners off. And frankly, all I really need is some target lock. Sunfac is still relatively healthy. Hyena Bomber is still relatively healthy. And actually, I think my original Vulture Droid is still alive at this point. So everything's good. Just need to finish them off if we can. Can't get a reinforcement in now because we have too many Hyena or Vulture Droids. And honestly, that's all she wrote. They just kind of died with a whimper. 64 is great, and so it was that we got a full clear, and yeah, there was no issues at all. And that was that. Let's go to the final results here. I'll show you guys my defenses. Looks like maybe my emulator froze, so I'm gonna pause it real quick. You guys won't even notice though. Alright, and I'm back. You guys are still here, apparently. So good for you. My opponent did end up attacking a little bit more. He hadn't completely finished his attacks. So I'll just show you guys my defenses though real quick, and I'll get you out of here. So You can see he took 2 on my Grievous and 3 on my Rey. This was actually by design. This team was specifically chosen, so keep your eyes peeled for that video. If I think of it, don't count on it. If you're watching this video like a week after it was put out, I may have thought to put a link to my scouting video in my video description, but one way or another, just keep an eye out for that. Those were extremely intentional. Now, in the back, he left these teams for very last, so I should have probably showed you last, but behind them, I have the full Bastard Darth Revan team. He took 4 to get through that. Couldn't quite manage to get through my Supreme Leader Kylo, which is fancy. Again, kind of by design. And he one-shot all the teams up here, like for pretty good banners, I think. Though it's hard to know. He killed them so fast, my bot kind of just like lumped them all together. And then you can see that I think people have been killing this fleet with like killing all the reinforcements. I think I need to start playing with one more like max reinforcements. I don't know what the final one I want to have come in yet, though is. I think that might end up helping me, but one way or another, he one-shot my fleets, and that was it. The final score, he couldn't clear me, so it was a pretty decisive final score, and that was it. Yeah, pretty good result, obviously. I'm happy enough with a win, and now my next opponent is going to be really tough. They have almost the same lifetime banners as me. They win a ton, they're no joke, so gonna be fun. Maybe, it might be awful, but it might be fun for you guys anyways. At any rate, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.